W7, we are with the head coach of the Brookfield Central Lancers in advance of Thursday night's sectional semifinal between Appleton East and DSHA. Mallory, LIEBL, head coach, Brookfield Central. Coach, thanks for taking a few minutes and hanging out with us to talk little girls basketball.
Always. I love talking basketball.
Well, you've played both teams. Obviously, you played DSHA twice, and then Appleton East during the Thanksgiving shootout. And you and I talked off camera. I mean, the team that you probably played in November is certainly not the team that you're going to see in March. But having seen both teams, let's start with Appleton East. For them to be successful in their game Thursday night against DSHA, what do you think they need to be able to do, and what should they be prepared to do against, obviously, a very strong DSHA team?
Yeah, they're going to definitely need to be able to handle DSHA's pressure. DSHA brings, from baseline to baseline, they're going to be pressuring Appleton East guards and, their half court, DSHA's half court defense, I think, is just as good as their full court defense. But Appleton East is going to have to be able to beat that pressure, find a way to score against that pressure. And I know that they've got multiple scorers on their team, but really it's the pressure and then not letting the pressure in the full court kind of disrupt their half court offense. And they're defensively, Appleton East, they're going to be able to have to find ways to stop the multiple shooters that DSHA has on their team. But just seems like, anybody who has the ball in their hands on DSHA can shoot the ball. And so being able to have, good, quick closeouts and just not being able to give up anything easy. And then DSHA has Jaden O'Brien, who's a fantastic slasher. She can get to the rim. She's one of the best at just being able to cut to the basket, and her teammates find her and get her the ball. And then even Bella Hushett has been a really good presence down low for DSHA. So finding someone who can stop that inside presence as well is going to be crucial for Appleton East.
And speaking of the inside game, one of the Emily LaChapelle, probably one of the premier players in the state. Multiple offers, including Wisconsin and Green Bay. How does DSHA match up with LaChapelle inside, and how do you think they fare trying to contain her?
Well, luckily for DSHA, they see a lot of pretty talented players throughout the season. We've got, I'd say, 3 of the best players in the state in our conference, with Anna Mortag and Natalie McNeil and KK Arnold. And I know there's others out there. Just the teams that I know better, but so DSHA, they're used to having to stop dynamic playmakers and
Anna Ruth from Sussex Hamilton would also be another.
And she's a big mismatch problem for teams. But yeah, with LaChapelle, she's one of those that if she wants to score the ball, she's scoring the ball. And so I think it's just about for DSHA, it's about trying to limit her touches as much as they possibly can so that she can't get the ball back in her hands when she gives it up. But it's one of those where you have to be okay with her getting, her points, and hopefully you can keep her under her average total. But I think for DSHA, it's more so making sure that, no other a player is getting hot, and Appleton East has players that can do that. So but with LaChapelle, it's just trying to limit her touches, and then as much as possible, keep her out of the lane, keep her out of the paint, because that's where she gets so many of her opportunities, whether it's scoring the ball or becoming a playmaker from that area.
Well, I think one of the things also to that'll be interesting tomorrow or on Thursday night will be the matchup of the guards. So Lily Hansford, I think, is going to be a big part of this game, and she's very tall, very long, and if Garcia's on her, I mean, she's going to be able to shoot over her. But the question is going to be, can her and Kobe Clark hit those outside shots? And I mean, to me, that's a big decider in who wins this game.
Right, that's going to play a huge part in it. And the fact that you've got a shooter like Lily on the where for Appleton East, you can be down, 6, 9 points, and she can get you right back in the game, within a few possessions because she can shoot the ball so well. And, she helps with taking off some of that pressure from La Chapelle, because you can't, if they're on the same side of the court, you really can't you can't help off of Hansford, um, when LaChapelle drives and it's that drive and kick, that's gonna, if you leave her open to catch and shoot, she's gonna make you pay for it. So, hopefully for their sake, they can find some of those opportunities.
Your teams have played in a lot of close, emotional games, and certainly both teams had emotional games Saturday night with DSHA winning in double overtime on a buzzer beater by Aaliyah Garcia, and then Appleton East only getting past Homestead by 1 point. How does that emotion? I mean, I realize it's been 5 days ago, but you know, how do you manage that as you kind of go back to practice and start getting ready for the game this week, and I guess keep the kids focused?
Well, it's playoffs, and when it's playoffs, it doesn't matter what, the records are. It doesn't matter what your seeds are. You have to come ready to play. And it's just that mentality of one game at a time, you know, survive in advance. And I think for them, for both teams coming off of really close games, um, that's just part of it. And you're just thankful that you won that game and that you get a chance to play another game. Um, and you have to trust in the process. You have to trust in what you've done all year to prepare for this time. And both teams were able to, that's the beauty of it. I think it's more special when you can pull out a win like that because you were able to keep your composure, and you kind of show, your coaches, your teammates, what you're made of. In that, with DSHA's game, that was absolutely wild. And the fact that they were able to keep their composure and make that last possession happen speaks volumes about how prepared they've been throughout the year. And with Appleton East, close game. Um, I think if anything, it just says I don't know. I don't think it defines them as teams at
Right.
all. Um, I think it's more props to their opponent, really, to be honest. I think, Watertown obviously had a fantastic game plan and they followed their game plan. And same with Homestead. They're so well coached. I think
Yeah.
it's more of a credit really to those two teams than it is, saying, oh my gosh, DSHA, how poorly did they play? Or how poorly did Appleton East play? And I didn't see either of their games. So I think just going off of, what I've heard, I think it's just a credit to Watertown and Homestead.
Well, should be a good one. Thursday night, 7 o'clock. We'll be keeping an eye on them over in Germantown, in Slinger with Germantown West Bend West, and the winners will collide on Saturday. So, Coach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Enjoy the games this week, and we'll see you Saturday for a big doubleheader on W7.
Sounds great.
All right, Mallory LIEBL, head coach of the Brookfield Central Lancers. We'll see you on 7 o'clock on Thursday night for Germantown West Bend West. You have been watching W7.